bit big. We were thinking of the movement across the frontier of a Christianity that's become embedded in a globalizing civilization. Civilization is a tricky word. I'm running out of time, and I think we won't have the time to look at its importance in Christian history. But the basic meaning of civilization is living in cities. It's living in cities that produces technological innovation, complex forms of government, general sophistication. A civilization can draw on its rural areas, and its rural areas will participate in the developments that come about in the city. Greco-Roman Hellenistic civilization was city-based. New Testament religion is urban-based. You look at Paul's network, city to city. In the Roman Empire, it's the rural areas that are evangelized last. Know what the word pagan means? The pagani were the people of the fields, the country people who were left when all the cities had become Christian. So it's there's a big exception to that, which you'll hear from Professor Shaw about it, because the big exception here is the Nile Valley. Nile Valley is early rural Christianity, early African village Christianity. I mustn't get onto that one now. The point I'm making is that it's very much an urban Christianity that has developed from New Testament times onwards. And now, at various times, this story that I'm telling now takes a good few centuries. It takes Europe many centuries to become Christian. It's a story that goes on over centuries, but it's a story of an urban Christianity meeting a rural people. And Christianity having to change. And of course that rural people gradually becomes urban too. But it's a major cross-cultural frontier which is going to be crossed. Here you've got a sophisticated, technologically based, literary sense of strong literary tradition in which Christianity is embedded, coming into contact with illiterate, subsistence farming, semi-settled people, military outlook, land-based, living in this harsh, uncertain environment. One of the other differences, of course, is the degree of contingency. Civilizations gradually get rid of large elements of contingency in life. Modern civilization, where you turn the switch and expect the light to come on. A world away for people who cannot be sure where the food is coming from, and where you don't buy the food at the supermarket, but you have to grow it, and if the rains are late this year, it doesn't come. This is where the barbarian frontier comes. There's Patrick, and we've met him coming from from a Christian background. If you look at the next paragraph, you'll see that at 16 years of age, he too is captured in a raid and abducted, taken as a slave. He is taken as a slave to Ireland. And this is a pagan people, and he comes from this nominal Christian background. I did not know the true God. This is the son and grandson of Christian ministers. But it hasn't made much impression yet on this 16-year-old boy. And he sees his enslavement with thousands of people as a judgment from God, because we had turned away from God and didn't keep his commandments, didn't obey our priests, who used to remind us of our salvation. The slave boy is taken away, comes to Ireland, paragraph 16. Every day I had to tend sheep. Looking after sheep, he's got time on his hands, and he prays. And here his Christian faith comes to life. He goes through some sort of conversion experience. The love of God and his fear came to me more and more, and my faith was strengthened. And my spirit was so moved that in a single day I'd say as many as 100 prayers, and almost as many in the night. And this even when I was staying in the woods on the mountain. I used to get up for prayer before daylight, through snow, frost, rain, and I felt no harm. It's been the Christian making of him, this experience of slavery. Then, strange things begin to happen. One night, I heard in my sleep a voice saying to me, "Fast, you'll soon go to your own country." I was hearing voices in the night. Justin Martyr doesn't hear voices in the night. This is Augustine, I'm sure. Well, he heard the children, but he probably heard real children singing "Tolle Lege, Tolle Lege." He's not getting this sort of significant dream. Again, after a short while, I heard a voice saying to me, "See, your ship's ready." And it was a long way away, 200 miles away. I'd never been there. I didn't know a soul there. But he runs off and walks 200 miles in obedience to this night vision he's had about a ship that's sailing from a place he's never seen. And I went in the strength of God, who directed my way to my good, and I feared nothing till I came to the ship, in obedience to the vision of the night. And the day that I arrived, the ship was set afloat, and I said I was able to pay for my passage. But the captain wasn't pleased and said it's no use having come 200 miles, found the ship, all as it is in the dream, and then the captain won't take him. And he has to turn away, disappointed. As I went, I began to pray. And before I'd ended my prayer, I heard one of them shouting, "Come, hurry on, we'll take you in good faith." There's this sudden change of plan, and he's make friends with us whatever way you like, and he refuses to use the traditional method of friendship. I rather hoped that they would come to the faith of Jesus Christ because they were pagans. And thus I had my way with them, and we set sail. Into the page. After 3 days we reached land, and for 28 days we travelled through deserted country. Why would it be deserted? War, where you devastate the crops, destroy the very fragile houses. It should be inhabited country, but it isn't. There's nobody there. The population has fled. And as a result, there's nothing to eat. No way of getting food. And so the captain says to him, "Tell me, Christian, you say your God is great and all-powerful. Why don't you pray for us? As you can see, we're suffering from hunger. And I don't know that we're ever going to see a human being again." I said to them full of confidence, "Be truly converted with all your hearts to the Lord my God, because nothing's impossible for him. This day he may send you food on your way, that you be satisfied. He's abundance everywhere." And with the help of God, so it came suddenly to pass. Suddenly, a herd of pigs appeared on the road before our eyes, and they killed many of the pigs, and there they stopped for 2 nights and fully recovered their strength. And an odd little addition. And their hounds received their fill, for many of them had grown and were halfway along the road. Britain was famous for the producing of hunting dogs, and evidently this ship had a whole cargo of hunting dogs, who of course are dying, will die of hunger like the humans if they're not fed. The providential herd of pigs supplies the need of the cargo as well as of the crew and passenger. Then an interesting way in which the crew showed their gratitude. From that day they had plenty of food. They also found wild honey and offered some of it to me, and one of them said, "This we offer in sacrifice